2, 3. Band Hello and welcome to the Abandoned Beers podcast. It is the only podcast that matches your favorite bands with our favorite beers. Y'all know me. My name is Pat Zapp, and I'm the host of this thing. Unwilling, adjective, as in forced, not made or done willingly or by choice. Unwilling contributions from an employee who felt pressured. Hesitant, reluctant, coerced. I am here with my two best buddies in the whole wide world. Let me introduce them to you. This next guy, the word that comes to mind is enabler, noun, a person that enables something or makes something possible. Someone who supports someone else's bad behavior, a facilitator, a helper, a catalyst. Dan McHenry.
Catalyst, I forget the words to that song, but I love Newfound Glory, but that's not our band today.
That would be a great band for today,
Ooh,
but it's not.
Super fun.
Hey, Siri, which words can describe someone who won't admit that they're wrong? Incorrigible, remorseless, unrepentant, stubborn, shameless, and arrogant. Dusty Swartz.
It's tough being always right. Guys, how about marriage? The legally or formal recognition of a union of two people as partners.
But what about if
in a
it's three
personal
people?
relationship, maybe just three. Historically, and in some jurisdictions, specifically a union between a man and a woman. I don't believe that.
We are Abandoned Beers. We're here to make you drink beer, think about Anne Frank, and get sad and stuff. It is the Don't Blame Me, Semester by the Sea recording of Abandoned Beers, and we're just about ready to get rocking and rolling and cranking and drinking, and it's a pants-off, dance-off episode of the podcast. Boys, welcome to said episode.
I'm really glad to be here. You know, this band, before we get into it, you know, they have a small catalog, so we needed a gimmick. And, you know, for all our listeners out there, we're nude.
Not nude. We're never nudes.
Is that exactly what it sounds like?
We're
Yeah.
still wearing our underwear. But no shirts, no
there
pants.
are dozens of us.
No need to apply. Yes.
You know, I recently bought a brand of underwear in Japan, and they have a different definition of medium. But I'm making it work.
Much smaller.
I'm a little snug, but
You're putting on a show for us.
I am really happy to be here. It might not seem like it because I'm unhappy with other things. But, Dan, before we get too much further...
You're hiding
into-
nothing, by the way. So
Before we get too far into this episode, why don't you explain to the people what's going on?
All right. Abandoned Beers is when we choose a band, we each select the beer that we think best represents the band. Could be location, could be feel, could be just whatever fills our loins when we're listening to the band, and it chooses our beer for us on our behalf. So each of us chooses a beer. At the end of the episode, we vote to see which beer best represents the band. Pat, to you.
Little bit of a milestone because I think this is our 10th episode.
10th episode. Holy
oh,
cow.
guys, we did it.
Who
Look
would
at
have
us.
thought that this little dream that was dreamed so many months ago would become a reality? We've battled through adversity.
Yeah, lots of trials and tribulations.
We've
We haven't
only-
been we haven't been canceled yet.
We've only almost broken up a couple of times.
Yes.
I listen to all the songs now.
Yeah, a huge undertaking that we've all gone through. And our last episode was such a great band, such a fun thing to talk about. So much like depth, girth, length. Really great episode on the Bloodhound Gang. How did you guys feel about it?
I loved it. I mean, super fun one. You know, it's great to hear a band like the Bloodhound Gang get that kind of recognition, you know, that kind of attention. I think they needed it.
Yeah. It made things move a little bit. Not today, but back when we were
Again,
recording that.
I
we
won
would
that one.
know.
Yes.
So we're not doing the Bloodhound Gang. As much as I hoped and wished to do Bloodhound Gang Part 2, that is not the case. The rotation of picks goes to Dusty. And Dusty, as the not the most senior,
No.
Mhm.
but
I'm actually the youngest. Actually.
yeah,
Yeah.
our baby member,
Yeah.
but the highest educated,
But
The most
not
bu-
highly
the
educated.
the,
I
the,
have more
most
degrees
business
than
minded,
Dusty
the
does,
most
so.
Better degrees, but it's fine.
No.
when he's not complaining about his various undiagnosed diseases,
Woo.
he's usually got the
They're
one of
quite
the-
diagnosed.
He's usually got a lot of interesting things he brings to the table, and today he's bringing something that, well, buddy, I'll let you take it from here.
Well, guys, like we're down at the shore. We're listening to we're trying to record
Sessions
a bunch
by
of
the Sea.
podcasts. Our sessions by the sea.
Sessions by the Sea.
I was trying to keep it easy on my podcast partners here. I wanted to pick a band that would be really interesting, but yet easy to digest in terms of how much time do we have to prep for this thing. I chose Neutral Milk Hotel. This is a huge band in the 90s. A big, what was that? What kind of following would you call
Cult
that? A cult
following.
following. I was going to say
Not
critical.
a huge band.
Critically
Cult.
acclaimed.
Yes.
Some people would say In an Airplane by the Sea is one of the best albums of the 90s.
Hey, and if you're like me and you've never heard Neutral Milk Hotel, they sound a little something like this.
Until I learn how. What a curious life we have found here tonight. There is music that sounds from the street. There are lights in the clouds and there's ghosts all around. Hear a voice as it's rolling and ringing through me. Soft and sweet, how the notes all bend and reach above.
Oh, guys, do you love that musical song?
It's
Do you
something.
love that playing the radio? How about that tuba? It was good. That trumpet. You can only have a band as iconic, as influential of Neutral Milk Hotel once in a decade, I would say. And so I've tried to pick a beer that kind of changed the way people are making beers, changed the beer frontier. It was actually a local beer of ours by a brewery called Tired Hands.
Tired Hands.
Great brewery.
That's what I said.
Ardmore, PA.
Ardmore, PA. They released a milkshake beer, they called it. After that, many breweries tried to replicate it, I would say to varying degrees of success. So I went with their strawberry milkshake, their OG of their milkshake series.
Strawberry milkshake. All right. Here we go. Ooh, this is a tall boy can.
So what are we looking at?
It's an interesting label.
Yeah.
I see Saturn in the middle of an eye.
Yeah, that's the vanilla plant over on the side there.
Is that the vanilla plant?
Yeah,
Okay.
and much like Neutral Milk Hotel's album covers, which are drawn by members of the band, very unique to them. Tired Hands a very distinct artistry that they use. They go back to the same artist for a lot of their decorations within their brewery itself and their
I just dripped on my
brew
undies.
cafe.
Sorry.
He meant beer.
It's not a beer, dude.
It wasn't the beer. No, it was the beer. Sorry.
So strawberry milkshake IPA, ale brewed with strawberries is how they call it. They also use a lactose sugar for the sugar in this beer, which gives it a nice, softer kind of taste to it. This is a delicious beer. they went and they experimented a lot with lots of different flavors over there at Tired Hands, but the original strawberry milkshake, I believe, is the best one. I love this beer. I think it's really good. A little expensive, but much like the Neutral
only
Milk
the
Hotel.
best for our audience, right?
Yeah, and now they until recently very limited releases too. Much like Neutral Milk Hotel, you can't actually see them anymore. They only had those 2 albums, and they really didn't tour so much. They it's really only 2.
That's a really only 2. Yes.
I remember alcoholic milkshakes being a thing.
I think we lost your audio there, Pat.
Oh, sorry. I remember.
You may have turned them. Oh, he turned the power off. There we
I
go.
remember alcoholic milkshakes being a thing.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, and like you can also get like those alcoholic root beer floats. They're all delicious.
And I remember thinking like, such a thing
But I also
couldn't
know,
exist because you would only have that if you combined the awesomeness of drinking with the awesomeness of milkshakes. No one would ever have another.
Well, especially being nude, I think we've all become aware of the dangers and the plights of sugar.
That's right.
You know, we can't just
It's-
drink those
it's very
delicious
dangerous over
alcoholic
here.
root beer
Yes.
floats every single day. I would if I could. They're
Sugar boost.
amazing.
That's why I recommend the 3 random beers a week,
Yes.
gathered around
Per
music.
week. Yes.
So what do you guys think? What do you think of this
So
beer?
these alcoholic, milkshake beers are a real tightrope act. It could be right in that sweet spot of, man, this is fantastic. Or it could really fall off a cliff and be like, this is basically undrinkable.
And a lot of them are that way. Like they have like cotton candy. They have a lot of like
I'm
weird ones.
catching the strawberry as soon as I my
Right?
first sip.
They,
You're,
this is like
you're
the one
picking
that
up on the strawberry.
they
milkshake part.
crushed this one. They
Yes.
really figured it out. I think this the first one they had to play around with it so much.
Yeah.
And the strawberry flavor itself isn't overpowering.
No,
You're
it
getting
isn't
it.
overpowering.
It's
I think it's perfect. Like it's right in line. I know there's a lot of whenever I don't know if it's a weekly or bi-weekly.
Yeah, the
release
can
that-
release. Yeah.
We have a buddy of mine. Like he will stand in line to get whatever the weekly release or bi-weekly release
From
it is.
Tired Hands, they
From
get
Tired
down like that?
Hands,
Yeah.
yes.
Wow, all right,
Yes.
good for them.
And that speaks to the cult following of Neutral Milk Hotel, and that's really what I was trying to capture there. And not only does it using lactose sugar, which has like a little milk thing, whatever. That's not really what I'm going after.
Debatable whether it relates to Neutral Milk Hotel, but
Nah,
we'll talk to that later.
I'm usually very critical of, I think he's dead-eyed this.
Okay, all right. No, well, to each their own.
Yeah, this is one of those beers where
I'm just saying, you're going to have to come correct if, I think.
Depending on what the rest of our beers are, I
Yeah.
guess. Yeah, in
Yeah.
a sense.
it's I think the music itself in Neutral Milk Hotel, you might like it, you might not like it. They did things that all their own way. They went for this lo-fi sound. They did a lot of experimental things, which we can get into later. But it's a lot like making the strawberry milkshake beer.
What is the sound exactly?
All right, so let's go to the wiki description. So we got Neutral Milk Hotel was an American band formed in Ruston, Louisiana by musician Jeff Mangum. They were active from 1989 through 1998 and again from 2013 through 2015.
So can I tell you one of my only references to Jeff Mangum?
Yes.
I listened to a rap group called Das Races. It's 2 brown gentlemen who do raps.
Can we keep this in the pod or?
They named it. I didn't name it. Das Races. DAS Races.
Okay.
2 brown gentlemen. And they got a really wild sound. And they have a song called Rainbow in the Dark. Where one of the lines is, catch me getting lit, listening to Jeff Mangum. Fun to do bad things like rhyme about handguns.
There you go. All right.
Real.
He's been referenced, yeah.
And I'm just like, okay. I only catch
Jeff
a
Magnum.
third or a fourth of these references anyway.
Yeah.
But the kind of Latino rappers who would listen to Neutral Milk Hotel, that's the boys in Das
Interesting.
Races.
That's pretty cool. I mean, like
Recommend listening to them.
highly influential. I think it speaks to that.
Yeah. So their music featured a deliberately low quality sound,
Yeah, sure did.
influenced by indie rock and psychedelic folk.
Psychedelic folk.
Mangum wrote surreal and opaque lyrics that covered a wide range of topics, including love, spirituality, nostalgia, sex, and loneliness, which we're kind of feeling right now, being topless and pants. No, wait, we're together.
Yeah,
so
I don't
it's
feel
not,
that lonely.
Yeah, we're not feeling lonely at all.
Yeah. It is a little cold in here, though.
It is,
We're
yes.
keeping it at 63.
Yes, I was in the pool, is the quote I would use. He and the other band members played a variety of instruments, including non-traditional rock instruments, like the singing saw, Julian pipes, and what you hear a lot in their songs, the digital horn.
Yeah, the digital horn.
Yeah.
Yeah,
See-
I love that song. I actually, whenever they're using this stuff, I feel like they did I think that's probably their biggest success is like they use this stuff to great effect. They managed to like make it melodic with the songs, and it's not overpowering. Even with this lo-fi recording they did on purpose to try to get this specific sound, I really like how they did it.
And the thing was, he when he was recording, or when they were recording, they were running through different
That's right.
pedals, different filters. They wanted it to sound. They wanted the distortion. They wanted.
Oh, it's on purpose. This was recorded at the Pet Sound Studios, which was famous for recording the Beach Boys.
Beach Boys,
Pet
really?
Sound.
Yeah.
How about that?
And they were covering mics in wool. Like they were trying to screw it up the sound. They wanted it to be lo-fi.
They
Yeah.
wanted it to be bad on purpose.
Yes.
So the genres that are listed for the band. Oh, Pat wants me to stop. Hold up. Hold the horses. Here we go.
So I don't know what's on your list. I have an idea of what's
Okay.
on the list,
Pat's got his own.
but
list.
it's like folk
folk.
because it's this Jeff gentleman
Jeff Mangum.
writing the songs
That's right.
and essentially singing them while playing an acoustic guitar.
Yes.
That was the EP. It was only that. And then when he put the band together, it incorporated a whole bunch of other sounds. Traditional drums, but like trumpet, all the things we talked about. But the first album has just like alarm sounds, static,
Yeah.
a drill, a dog barking, any kind of sound that you could just like, not musical sounds, not musical notes, just background noise.
You know, I think some people would say this is a bit of noise rock,
It's a little bit of noise rock is a good category.
which
for
is the
it.
thing. I wouldn't say I wouldn't go
Folky
that far.
noise rock.
Like, like we might be getting ahead of ourselves a little bit, but like they definitely do this on purpose. And like there's like elements. I don't know if you guys are familiar with like bands like Architecture in Helsinki, where there was like when they perform live, they have a lot of people on stage. They're making sounds to try to capture how they recorded this all together in a live experience.
That did not make my list of genres listed. Sorry.
What do you got?
I've got indie rock,
Indie rock,
which we've touched upon, I think, multiple times. Psychedelic folk.
which is one I only heard of today, but that
Yeah,
seems.
I think that's right on par.
Yep.
Lo-fi, which
Okay.
I think we're hearing a lot of.
I don't know if that's a genre as much as like a attribute, but yeah.
A little column A, a little column B there. And then finally,
Tomato,
folk
tomato.
rock. Psychedelic folk, I think, is where I'm settling in personally.
I think with the lyrics the way they are,
What are the lyrics? Nonsense?
they are nonsense. And,
Okay.
and I think that's part of the reason why they didn't record too many albums. Because Jeff Magnum got really annoyed about explaining them.
Mangum.
Mangum.
He's not Magnum.
I'm trying to
Mangum.
say it like real smooth, like Mangum. Mangum.
Magnum.
Are you having trouble saying it while you're looking at us in our underwear?
I'm just like thinking about magnums.
Okay.
Um,
That too.
uh,
It's cold
know
in
what?
here. I told you.
I wouldn't say that was
The
real
heater's not
Florida's,
on. Let's just talk.
Uh,
I digress.
Yeah. I think I'm probably getting a little ahead of myself, though. I think we'll get into this in a little bit. But so far, how do you guys feel about this beer? Like, what do you, Dan? You gave me your taste test, Pat. How do you like this beer?
Enjoyable. Smooth. The strawberry doesn't overpower it.
Yeah.
I think strawberry actually plays nicely into most beers.
Yeah.
The lactose that you're talking about,
Yeah. It's funny. You do get it. Like you can tell that it has a different sugar base.
gives like a, I'm a black coffee drinker. And, I do things wrong. I do things the wrong way. I like the Bloodhound Gang more than the Beatles, like I just...
Yeah.
So when you put a little sweetness into that black coffee, it makes it easier to drink. And
That's right.
little bit of something else makes it a little bit easier to have.
I love that you drink black coffee now. Like, we used to go to this Tom Jones diner, guys.
Tom Jones. Wait, did they have any kind of deals?
They certainly did. They had what was called a blue ribbon special.
What is that?
Well,
Oh, you don't know the Blue Ribbon Special? It's
I don't know it.
One of the best breakfast deals you could ever come across.
Never heard of it.
oh, Pat, you know how much it was? Remember the price of the
Yeah,
blue ribbon?
I remember the price.
It was probably like $20, right?
for what you get? It's just
Woo.
like, well, you get 2 pancakes.
Wow, 2 pancakes?
Yeah,
Do you get 2 of anything else?
yeah.
Go on.
Two. They'll throw eggs in there.
Eggs.
2 eggs, any way you want them.
But man, I really need to have some meat on my breakfast.
You want meat?
I do.
You want meat with the pancakes and the eggs?
Yeah, and I'm
Pancakes
probably like,
with syrup and butter and jam and eggs, any way you want them. You want meat?
yeah, I would love.
How about you get an option of meat? How about you get
Well, that's not going to be the case.
you get to pick whether you want sausage,
Yeah. I'll have what kind of, like, 1 sausage, please?
sausage patty, sausage link, any way you want it. The sausage up that thing.
What if I want bacon?
Hey, buddy, order bacon because it comes with it.
Oh my God! How many pieces? I'm just getting 1.
You're not getting 1, you're getting 2.
Yeah,
2. We got 2s coming at you any way you want.
But if I get my over easy eggs, I'm gonna need some toast. Like, how much is that extra?
This guy thinks you're getting extra, but you're not getting extra for toast. All right? Where are we at on the price? You still think it's $20 or is it $40?
Well, at this point, it has to be at least 35 in today's market.
It's under $5. The pancakes and the eggs and the
you're so
sausage or
funny.
bacon and the toast with the butter and the jam. That's all included.
Well, how many drinks do I get? I just get my coffee, I guess, like a typical diner.
No, you don't just.
What do you
get-
mean? What do you
don't-
mean?
You
No,
don't just get coffee.
I don't get coffee at all.
You get coffee,
No,
or if you don't fuck with coffee, you get tea.
I get tea. I love tea.
Yeah.
Give me that coffee.
All right, you don't do caffeination.
Mm-hmm.
You need a natural hydration, a fruit,
What are you talking about? I'm gonna get like some kind of like
a juice, dude.
a juice.
You're getting a juice with breakfast.
This
because
isn't just a seltzer with some
where are
like
we at on
fruit.
the price? Because did I tell you it's under $4?
I think you're just making this
The
up now.
pancakes, the eggs, the sausage, or the bacon with the toast, multiple kinds of bread with the toast, your preference, and the juice, orange, apple, grape, you choose.
That's just not real. And but
It's
you know
real?
what though? You know what I hate? It's like you get that toast, you have to butter it yourself. It ruins the whole meal.
Yeah, they butter it for you.
That's not real.
They butter it for you.
This place
and,
doesn't exist.
And it's under $4. It's under $3. They're bringing you a glass of water just complimentary.
You get
And
3
they're
beverages.
charging you $2.99 for it.
$2.99.
That's the Blue Ribbon Special.
So I'm telling
dog.
you, I'm getting 3 drinks, 2 of them flavored, whatever you want them to be. 2 pancakes, 2 meats, 1 of each, whatever you want. 2 eggs, 2 pieces of toast. $2.99. They must be running out of business.
They're driving.
Thriving.
Oh, the Tom Jones. That's how you know it's a
Tom
good diner.
Jones
It's named
restaurant.
after a person.
Yes.
$2 breakfast.
This
Cannot
is a shtick that has been. My family still talks about how you guys presented the Blue Ribbon Special, the way what you guys just went through.
Yeah.
People still talk about how you presented it.
Dan, I don't want to get a little emotional, but we were at a service for your pop one time. The one time. And you wanted us to say something, and I was like, I should go up there and do the Blue Ribbon thing. Would that be too much of a comedy act for this thing? And I talked myself out of it.
It would have.
I think I should have done it because I would have brought up the time after your sister Rory on her 21st birthday. Oh, what a fun time that was. coming home on that bus, and we were
Yada
all
yada yada.
We
We
yada,
had
yada,
too
yada.
good of a time,
And
we had
Pat
to
and
calm
I
each
were-
other down afterwards.
sitting in our underpants in your kitchen talking to your dad. And we almost got him to take us to the Tom Nose China to get that blue ribbon.
The idea that you'd have to put up with your friends, drunk friends, in your house is one thing. It's already an absurdity too far for me to comprehend. But for them to bring their drunkenness to you, the patriarch of the family, and to try to convince you to give them a ride to a diner.
And he would have.
Yeah,
he
would've-
would have given us a ride.
And it wasn't until Kate McHenry came in to shut down. She was like, "Go to bed." I went to sleep underneath the dining room table.
You can get pancakes for under $3.
Amazing.
No one's seen the body since the funeral.
Exactly.
That's how funerals work.
That's right. So the
Ugh.
strawberry milkshake, it's good.
Yeah, it's
beer.
good. It's good beer.
It is good.
Is it better than the band?
Yes, but that's not saying much
Oof.
when you're talking to Pat and I.
Yeah. I would say the critical acclaim of this band really is probably more than the popular acclaim. You know, if this was Rotten Tomatoes,
Who likes this? I've never met anybody who knows him.
that's. I would say I don't know most people who didn't like. One, it was in Parks and Rec.
Yeah,
that was a
that's-
Pat Zap tip.
I thought that was a joke.
All right, I think we're ready to take a break. Let's regroup, and let's get our second beer going for Neutral Milk Hotel.
Let's do it.
Just saying, it's not too late to call this whole thing off.
No.
Okay, so we're back, and I have a beer. I don't know if you've been able to tell, but I did not like Neutral Milk Hotel. I did not like them on a boat. I did not like them with a goat. I did not like them in the house. I did not like them with a mouse. I did not like them here or there. I did not like them anywhere. They're not my cup of tea. It's fine. There's plenty of cups of tea I like. I'm happy to drink those teas. I just wouldn't like this particular tea. But I had to find a beer for them.
Gotta find a beer
Yeah.
for him.
And not a band for them.
Find that flavor of tea that fits them that you don't like, but you know it's a tea.
And then I
nonetheless.
thought, like, oh, well, I'll relate them to me. There'll be a beer that I just won't drink. I don't like to drink hard ciders. I don't like to drink hard seltzers. I don't
Interesting.
like to drink kombucha beers that are a new thing.
I like those kombucha beers.
They're actually,
Ciders and
they're actually kinda
seltzers are
good.
not beers, by the way. So
I almost did a seltzer for a different band that we've done
Okay.
before.
They are.
okay,
They are.
okay.
And
I'm glad we all agree they are because
they are.
they're on the table for me.
Well, with whatever Pat selected, I guess they are in that sense.
But then I thought the fruity nature of seltzer beers, like the apple ciders, are not Neutral Milk Hotel. They're just not.
They're not.
And then I thought maybe the kombucha thing is, but there's no dark, depressing, psychedelic folk version of kombucha beer. So I came across this thing and I saw the label and I go like, yes, that's more in line with what I'm looking for.
Ooh, this is
And
a
what
tall
I'm
boy.
Looking at is Philadelphia's own Lost Time Brew Co.
Oh, wow.
Time is a hazy concept
This is a Philadelphia thing. I've never heard of this.
because these guys have this approach to their songs. And what I can take from their life is just like one of these guys you get around and they've been smoking pot and they just want to talk about like time isn't even real, man. Like actually if time didn't even exist, dude, would you even think about it, man? And it's just like, hey, that doesn't help anybody. What you're doing is not important. You just think it's important because you're on drugs.
So this is a Philadelphia brewing company, Lost Time Brew Company. The name of the beer is Time is a Hazy Concept, 5.3%
and it's
alcohol.
super hazy when you pour it. All the pictures of it.
It is
are-
a medium-bodied session ale with melon malt flavor and intense tropical and citrus aroma, hopped with Citra, Sabro, and Yukonot. I don't know what Yukonot is, but let me crack this baby open.
And yeah, so many years ago, a prominent Philadelphian said, "Time,
I just spurted all
lost
over my.
time, is never found again."
Damn,
And
we're
it's just
still naked.
one of these
I know
things
it's on my undies. Sorry.
that dumb people say, and it makes them seem smart. We're obviously going to get into it. We don't have a lot of albums to discuss, but this dude, in the middle of saying something.
Sorry.
This dude is super obsessed with the past and history and desires to travel through time and change history and reconnect with figures from the past. And he just thinks, hey, man, like maybe like time doesn't even really exist kind of thing. And that's why I thought time is a hazy concept. From the Lost Time Brew Co. out of Philadelphia, this hazy IPA, their Neutral Milk Hotel.
Yeah, you know what? They have all these hops in it, and that's like those ingredients Dan was reading. This is a stinky beer. Like,
Oh,
yeah.
does it stink? Y'all know me. I can't smell shit.
Yeah, so
It smells good.
Literally couldn't
Taste
smell.
doesn't taste
when
this.
when I'm saying stink, it's like that hop taste. Sometimes it has like that kind of like weed smell to it.
I would say the exact opposite. I'm getting the weed taste, but when I smell it, it was tropical.
Yeah, yeah. So like you're getting all these hops to it, and it's like bringing that like ultra kind of stinky taste and smell.
So, I'm challenged. I can't smell. But
Yeah,
the
it's-
taste of it does have a stinky vibe
Yeah.
where it's like, ooh, this is a little funky.
And that's where you related to Neutral Milk Hotel, the stinky.
Yeah, psychedelic
Taste.
funk, you know.
Oh, it's not
It's the
an
added,
it's not an easy band to listen to. God bless you if you're a dedicated enough fan that you heard on the last episode, a good episode, that we were doing Neutral Milk Hotel.
And you got
you
really
went
excited
out and you
about-
said like, that's a fake band. There's no way that's real. But then actually found the albums and listened to them. If you did, God bless you. So you listen to them and then you realize that they're not easy to listen to. These songs are weird. Sometimes they're not even songs. Sometimes they're 13 minutes of noise for no reason. And, but if you hammer through, you can eventually get to a place where you're like, I guess I get what they were doing. Like,
You know, they really were doing something their own, and I think, especially like if you're new to them, it's
who
like,
doesn't?
you know, like start with In an Airplane Over the Sea. 'Cause
Oh.
I think it makes the rest of it so much more digestible.
Right. If you listen to their EP first, which we're not going to talk about.
No.
If you listen to their EP first, it's just this guy banging away on a guitar,
that would be just
singing about
Mangum.
nothing.
All
And
right, so-
then he meets up with a bunch of guys and makes songs about nothing. And then he does the airplane thing, which is a couple of good songs are there.
Yeah, it's a great album, and it's like
Pat Lowe's Neutral Milk Hotel, if anybody can't pick up on that.
so. If you look at like some of these like like critically acclaimed lists of albums from the '90s, this one's like always mentioned in the top 10 in an Airplane Over the Sea. They think it was something that was ingenious. Jeff Mangum is he'd write these songs, and like that's a part of
Yeah.
why the band stopped to exist. Like he stopped wanting
He
to answer
is the
questions.
driving force behind Neutral
Yeah.
Milk Hotel.
And like the
But
inspiration.
he doesn't get good until he meets up with these other guys.
Debatable. I don't know how much these guys. I didn't dig too deep into how much they were into like the recording process. But Neutral Milk Hotel began as like home recording projects
Yeah.
for Jeff Mangum. In 1994, he released the song "Everything Is" on Share Doll Records. The song's exposure convinced him to record more music under this name, Neutral Milk Hotel.
Yeah.
And in 1996, he worked with childhood friend Robert Snyder to record the album on Avery Island, which came out in 1996, and it received modest reviews and sold about 5,000 copies at the time.
That's right. Yeah.
Everything is essentially a solo record of his style, his
Yeah.
the folk, just guitar, just him singing kind of thing.
And so he recruited musicians Julian Coaster, Jeremy Barnes, and Scott Spillane for the band's second album, which was the critically acclaimed In the Aeroplane Over the Sea. So, the band's popularity began to grow as they toured more, and this was right around the time that the internet came into existence.
That's right. Yeah.
And that's when they became extremely popular, because it was spread not just through word of mouth, but through type of mouth.
Yeah, because this is a band that probably wouldn't have been able to, because of what they were doing, have any kind of popularity other than people sharing it, like, oh, you got to check this out. This is really weird or really interesting.
Yeah, and they began to, as they toured more and they got more exposure over the internet, this ultimately became a negative effect on Jeff Mangum's mental health.
That's right.
And he got to the point where he didn't want to continue touring, and ultimately the band went on hiatus after their second album, In the Airplane Over the Sea, which was 1998.
Yeah. He grew tired of touring and having to constantly explain his lyrics. People are like, oh, are you obsessed with World War II? Which he says he's not. He did Anne Frank, but he was a sleepwalker, and he would write songs about his dreams that he would see. So he'd have these really vivid dreams, incorporate that into his lyrics. A lot of it was stream of consciousness. And he also incorporated things that he had with tarot cards. So that's why if you listen to it, sometimes it's really hard to understand what he's talking about. But he's mixing all these things together.
But he read the Diary of Anne Frank.
For sure, yeah.
And went into a mini depression about the lack of humanity, the cruelty that exists in that time period.
Yeah, as we all have in one way or another. So.
Yeah, he was
and it becomes the driving force for that record, the Aeroplane record.
And I think there was more going on, because eventually he became so obsessed with Y2K that he shot himself inside his house on for days on end, and he was hoarding rice for the preparation of what that would mean. So there was a lot going on.
Yeah, the more things change, the more they stay the same. You've always got a bunch of beans at the house.
Yeah. So he was he had a lot going on, a lot to think about. I think there might have been a phase of the way I kind of read his life. So I think,
wild dude.
Yeah, just a wild guy pulling in a lot of just wild concepts and putting them into an album. He is very, very firm saying this is not a concept album. The whole thing is not about World War II.
No, it's not.
There's two songs.
I think you can listen to it, and Holland 1945 is the best song on this album.
Oh, for sure. That's by far their most popular song.
Colbert played it as his at the final episode of the Stephen Colbert Show.
Oh, how about
really? I didn't know that.
He leaves the show and that song's playing.
There you go.
He has his parents died in a plane crash. He has a deep connection to this band and that song in particular.
Oh wow, I didn't know that.
Or so I heard.
Yeah.
And that song has references to that time period, obviously, and Ghost obviously has.
Right.
The rest of the album is interludes, and Two-Headed Boy is nothing to do with that.
Yeah.
Oh Comely has nothing to do with that, and
Yeah.
And then there's nothing else. They kind of released something called Ferris Wheel on Fire that I listened to on YouTube. But other than that,
Yeah.
they were a blip on the proverbial radar of music.
Well, I would say that's not true, because their everlasting effect of the influence that they had over people maybe we might have heard of bands like Rilo Kiley or Arcade Fire.
Well, here's the thing.
Or the Decemberists.
Their their popularity grew during their hiatus.
That's true.
They became more popular as they were, they didn't quote unquote exist. There was, articles from Pitchfork and Blender where they called, In the Aerospace and Over the Sea, a landmark album for indie rock.
Which is
and
crazy.
They also called it one of the greatest albums of the 1990s.
Which is crazy.
Oh, which one's better? All right.
Oh, yeah, from the 90s. Pick a better. Yeah.
Well, I mean, theoretically, that was when the album was
put on
recorded.
a
It was the 90s, so...
Fucking bare naked ladies record.
Come on.
walk
Put
that
on
one on. No.
Fucking.
Get out of here.
I mean, we got Nevermind, of course.
Too short records are better than this thing.
All right, I think it's that time where we need to simmer a little bit.
All right.
And I think we need to get a third beer going, so we're feeling nice and feisty.
We're going to be real toasty. I'm going to sit in front of that fire with you boys. Can't wait.
Let's take
Get a little warm in here.
Yeah, let's take a quick break. We'll be back. I'm a boxer briefs guy. I'm sorry, that's just who I am. All right.
Who isn't at this point?
Exactly. So, all right, we're ready for our third beer. I think at this point.
Yeah, that's for sure.
For Neutral Milk Hotel, who's a bit of a mystery of a band. Okay.
Yeah.
Ooh, a mystery of a band.
So,
Ghost.
I initially, when I was choosing my beer, I was like, all right, they're from Louisiana. Let me look at. There's a beer called Purple Haze, which I got excited about. But then I was like, all right, if we ever do Jimi Hendrix, that's a given.
Yeah.
So, I went for another beer that I thought was from Louisiana, but they were not. But when you look up
I love your research, Dan.
Yes. When you look up the description of the beer, it is called it's not quite a pale ale. It's a sort of dry, crisp, refreshing, not quite pale ale, whose
Not quite
mysterious
pale ale.
and unusual palate will swirl across your tongue with subtle notes of fruit and a floral hop bitterness.
Huh.
Beyond that, we dare not tell you more, for with each sip, mysteries are revealed and still more questions raised, similar to Neutral Milk Hotel. We're talking about Magic Hat number 9 here, guys.
Magic Hat number 9. Oh, weird. I haven't
what a
had this beer in
throwback.
forever.
Wow.
This is a freshman year college beer where I thought I was being really cool.
Magic Hat number 9.
We got to get the bottle opener out for this bad boy.
Magic Hat number
Oh,
9.
actually, it's Swiss off. Sorry, Pat. Swiss off.
Oh, is it?
I just
It
twisted it
sure
off.
is. Look at that. Yeah.
Yeah, all right.
I mean, either that or we've all been working.
Today
So.
is the
Cheers, brother.
tomorrow
When
we worried about yesterday.
When I read the description of the beer, I was like, all right, this is Neutral Milk Hotel in a nutshell, this beer.
That's an interesting. How did you come
Because-
across it?
They're not quite a pale ale. Originally, because I saw that they were initially from Louisiana, for whatever reason, I thought Magic Hat number 9 was from Louisiana, which they are not. They're from Vermont.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
once I figured that out afterwards, but then when I read the full-on description of the beer, I was like,
Ooh.
well, this is Neutral Milk
It's
Hotel,
been
I think.
it's been a long time
Yeah.
since I've had this
Right?
beer. This was a freshman year beer, and I'm liking this a lot more than I can remember.
Oh, Pat's waving his hand.
So, the Magic Hat number 9 that we drank freshman year or whatever, is it the same? Is this a different?
And
not
I'm sure it
quite-
changed slightly. But yeah.
It probably changed slightly.
But what I'm
over
saying
time.
is like the not quite pale ale. Is that a different variation of the original?
I don't
number
remember
9,
it ever
or-
being called not quite pale
Yeah, that's what I'm
ale.
thinking too.
I don't remember what it was called in general. I just knew it
I
as
just remember it
Magic
was
Hat number 9.
I think that had
Yeah.
to be a recent addition because people are so familiar with their types of beers.
Yeah. But when I read that description, I was like, all right, I think that fully fulfills Magic Hat number 9. That fully fulfills Neutral Milk Hotel.
It's really tasting good. I got to be
is.
honest.
You know, this is hitting the spot. I love, it's like I haven't had it in so long. This is like quite nostalgic for me. Almost like how Neutral Milk Hotel is. That was like something I
You're making
first.
his point. Don't make his point for
No,
him.
no, no.
No,
let-
yeah, guys, this is fine.
Dusty is our Neutral
am-
Milk Hotel expert, so let him go
I
away.
try to approach this to find out what beer it is. I'm not trying to just make myself win. I often should win, and I don't.
Call Tristan.
Tristan loves Neutral Milk Hotel, by the way. He almost was gonna come here. He was on a camping trip. It was 5 hours away.
Could we call him?
No.
All right.
Yeah. The audio, and I think we're committed to excellence.
We don't know if he's going to answer. So.
Call him right now.
he's.
Call him right now.
Yeah, Dusty's going to call him. All right.
He'll answer. But
Pat, your thoughts on Magic Hat number 9? the
It's
beer?
It's like finding an old friend. It's like reconnecting with an ex-love. It's like a smooth, familiar, rich, flavorful drink.
It's kind of like getting back
I don't
together
think they're
with
anywhere
Neutral Milk
close.
Hotel. Maybe
I don't
if
think they're
you
anywhere
went-
close to
No?
Neutral Milk Hotel.
Okay.
I mean, the mysteriousness of Magic Hat.
It's not quite a pale ale, similar to how Neutral Milk Hotel is not quite a band.
Yeah.
Uh,
Dancing in between.
I mean,
Um,
I guess they were a band.
genres or-
yeah, they certainly were
Are
bad.
you trying to FaceTime him or what's the
Yeah,
story?
what do Dusty's just
Are you
like
texting
fiddling
him,
on
or-
his phone, acting like he's calling Tristan. Oh, he didn't
Oh, it's a
answer.
voicemail? All right, never mind.
Yeah.
We tried.
I did try.
All right, so let's go bands that have been influenced by Neutral Milk Hotel.
Yeah.
When you listen to these bands,
Your band.
they sound like Neutral Milk Hotel.
Yep.
The Decemberists,
For sure.
vocally.
I never listened to the December.
I'm listening. I
can't wait to pick them
I
next.
knew the Decemberists before
Keep
I
this
knew Neutral
torture pack
Milk
going.
Hotel, and then when I listened to Neutral Milk Hotel, I was like, "Holy crap!" They took a lot of influence. from that.
When you really start like dissecting it, you can really hear it.
Yeah, Arcade Fire. They took a lot of influence from
Yep.
them as well.
I don't see how at all.
It's like the random instruments that show up in their songs. That
Elvis had an orchestra. I mean, just incorporating new instruments doesn't, lend yourself to being a creative genius.
but when you listen, to
I think it's the
Arcade
recording
Fire,
style
they're-
of it. Yeah.
Yeah, they're they have the same or similar instruments playing
Fine.
in their music. Bright Eyes, which we've talked about in a previous episode. So
All right, future episode.
yeah, and
Depending
then
on how time works.
the Lumineers.
And the Lumineers.
I've
Yeah.
always heard about the Lumineer. I never listened to them either.
Really? Wow.
I never listened to
Huh,
them.
okay. All
Not
right.
that I have anything against them. I just never took the time
Yeah.
to just,
Yeah.
sit down and listen.
They're
to
kind of lo-fi a little bit, but
Maybe I
it's
didn't know what lo-fi is. I
Yeah.
thought I listened to lo-fi stuff.
vocally.
Oh,
I think
yeah.
Like hardcore bands are lo-fi in that they don't have like a big production. And I listen to like a lot of like
Well, it's like the recording, like the way they recorded in an airplane over the sea, like they were recording it like onto cassettes, like one cassette to another. Like they were purposely distorting it.
yeah, they were running amps through amps. Like they wanted that distortion.
But that's not even the most lo-fi album. The first album is the most like
That's
the
a-
wall of sound. They say the wall of sound where like they're not layering or harmonizing.
And it's
They're
much
just putting
harder
it all at you at the
To
same
listen
time.
to that than
And then there's
to
13 minutes of static for no reason.
Yeah. So I was trying to figure out, like, I kind of, when I was trying to come up with memories of the band, I had
None.
didn't know they existed, aside from the Parks and Rec reference when April
Can we do
Ludgate.
the full Parks and Recs reference?
Yeah, please.
Yeah, go for it.
Please do.
There's an episode of Parks and Recs where Tom Haverford, my boy, Aziz Ansari, is trying to recreate the Newlywed Game, and he's calling it "Do You Know Your Boo?" And April and Andy are a couple on the show, and Tom asks, "What's your boo's favorite band?" And Andy is so confident because he knows that his girl is going to, of course, say Mousetrap. Mousetrap's the greatest band in the world. April knows it.
And that was
Yeah.
Andy's band.
That's what she's going to do. April, Andy played in Mouse Rat. April was going to say Mouse Rat. She flips up her card and it says Neutral Milk Hotel. Oh, you must not know your boo. And April says, that's a really important band to me. Like, I've tried to get you to listen to them a bunch of times and you never have. And that is literally the only time, opposed to Das Racist, that I had ever heard of Neutral Milk Hotel or Jeff Magnum.
Yeah, my
Magnum.
this was an album my brother brought home. I have an older brother who's 6 years older than me, I have 2 older brothers, but the 6-year
The other one didn't have any musical taste, so
he likes Sublime, which I might
Like
do
I
at one
said.
point because I think that would be an interesting difference for us, and like we all could bring in like our Coronas. So he had brought it home, so like that's why I was like introduced to this at a very young age. Like maybe I was like accustomed to the sound a little bit. So I definitely been around it for a while, and like reading stories about them where, like the singer's Jeff Magnum's wife, she was really big into the Occupy Wall Street movement.
Really?
And yeah, and like
I didn't know that.
yeah. So she was like she had a good role in it. I think they were raising money or something like that. I'm sorry, guys. But
the 99% or the 1%?
the 99.
definitely
yeah.
99.
That's
Yeah.
why I didn't see my
So,
cut.
so like, but she was also part of like when they kind of retoured to try to, like they're raising some money, so some, getting some more eyes on that band. She was actually like on stage. She was helping them perform, like do all those wild ass instruments that they're trying to do in the songs. Which is a lot to me, like Architecture in Helsinki, who I haven't seen. If you guys ever went to one of their live shows,
No.
they were bonkers. They were hanging instruments off strings, like clotheslines. It was real weird.
I mean, when the album ended and it suggested bands, it was like Man Man came up, and I go like, oh, I get this.
Yeah.
Like Man Man is like crazy sounds coming at you with nonsense lyrics, but they make an effort to try and make it listenable.
In Apple Music, it's funny. I was prepping for our next band, Rilo Kiley, and they
Apple
actually
Music, Spotify, YouTube Premium.
they actually recommended Nutri-Milk Hotel, which I thought was really funny to me, and I cackled a little bit hearing about some of our early takes.
All right. You guys want to do a top 9?
You want to do
Top six?
top 6? I think so. There's only 20
You
songs.
cowards refused to boot this episode because, but here you are, not able to come up with top 9 songs.
That's yes.
Unbelievable. All right.
We've had plenty to talk about tonight, so I think we're doing good.
It's been a 30-minute advertisement for the Top Doge Diner, located
right.
in Malvern, Pennsylvania.
Malvern.
Malvern.
I don't know what the Brookhaven?
Brookhaven, yeah.
Brookhaven,
Oh.
Pennsylvania.
Holy crap, Malvern.
Oh man, Malvern, like la di da.
It would not cost that.
Oh, they would
That-
never
that
be
price
seen
point
dead.
would not-
Never been seen dead in that part of the
That's
Delco.
That's right.
All right. What do you guys want to do?
How about milk types?
Sure.
Or things made from milk,
Milk types.
Dairy products?
dairy products.
Okay. All right. For Nutri-Milk Hotel.
Milk.
2% milk.
Whole milk.
1% milk.
Skim milk.
Le Bien.
What?
Butter.
Cheese.
I'm out.
Yogurt.
Five, 4, 3, 2, 1.
You already said butter? I can't believe it's not butter.
No,
not-
that's
not
not
dairy.
a milk product.
Whipped cream. Heavy cream.
How do you guys know
Because you can't believe it's not butter.
I can't believe it's not butter.
that there's not milk in it?
I can't believe it's not
Just
butter.
because there's other chemicals in it doesn't mean milk isn't one of the
Literally,
things.
listen to it.
Yeah, it's
I
not
can't
a-
believe it's not butter.
Fine.
Yeah, so Dusty goes first, then Pat.
All right. Thank goodness. Let's do this thing. So I'm going to go for the one, the skunky all you guys, Holland, 1945.
Oh, no.
Yeah, no, good luck picking bands. Songs, guys.
Give me Ghost.
Ooh.
Ghost. I don't even have that written down. I'm going to go with King of the Carrot Flowers, parts
Ugh, what an awful
2
song.
and 3.
Part 2 and 3.
Yes.
And then you're.
And then I'm going to circle back and say
Part
King
one?
of Carrot Flowers, part 1.
Yeah.
There you go.
Two-Headed Boys still out there, but I'd probably take Ferris Wheel on Fire, which is from an album we didn't discuss.
Ferris wheel on fire.
On
All right. I will do In the Aeroplane Over the Sea, and Two-Headed Boy Part 2.
I'd probably take Two-Headed Boy, the first part.
Oh, you're going part number 1. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
The superior Two-Headed Boy song.
That's like your opinion, man.
Yeah.
I am going to go for my third song, something I related to in my late teens.
Oh,
when I
comely?
was figuring myself out, slash
Something about sex.
the girls were rejecting me, so I would go with song against sex. Because the girls were rejecting me more than anything else.
All right, guys. So, I went with Holland 1945, In the Aeroplane Over the Sea, and Two-Headed Boy Part 2. Pat ended up with Ghost, Ferris Wheel on Fire, and Two-Headed Boy Part 1. Then there's Dan with King of Carrot Flowers Part 2 and 3, Part 1. And then Song Against Sex.
Not a realistic song for me in real life, but
I
Against
don't,
it so much
I'm
as,
all
like,
I'm all for
incapable
sex.
of it.
Yeah,
I don't recommend any of these. Dusty probably does have the superior one.
I think I won.
As
Yeah.
he wins as the only fan of
I don't think the only fan is the appropriate way
amongst
to
the
say.
three of us.
Yeah.
All right. So
Yes.
I would really like to just put this one in the books, get it behind us.
He's ready to close the book.
But,
Shut.
we have to determine a beer for this band.
Yeah, so what were our 3 beers?
Yeah, so
Well-
go ahead there, Pat.
Right here, we're looking at Magic Hat number 9.
Magic Hat number 9.
Magic Hat number 9. We're looking at Time is a Hazy Concept. It would appear here that Dusty's
Strawberry Milkshake by Tired Hands.
Strawberry Milkshake
Yeah.
by Tired Hands.
Strawberry Milkshake IPA.
All right. 3 good beers for a crazy band. I want to do something right now before we make our decisions. Let's bring in our guest.
Yeah, let's bring in a special guest to
Let's bring
talk
in a
about.
special guest.
Okay, good.
I know an extra special fan of Neutral Milk Hotel.
She has been on the podcast previously.
I'm happy that nobody said it wasn't like we need to take our undies off or anything. So thank you.
Yeah.
No.
I got scared for a second
Just to
that was the
just to even it
Okay.
out. Nicole, do you mind popping in?
all right. Dusty's
Wanna
wife
set you up
Nicole
over here?
Yeah, over
is
here.
coming in to give us a little extra insight.
I got
And
yelled
Nicole's
at
fully
for,
clothed, by the way. She's the responsible one amongst us all. So
There are children present in the house,
right.
although not in the room.
not in the room, and they have not been.
Yeah, we've been constantly re-robing.
We've been
whenever we thought they were
re-robing.
coming in.
This has not been a consecutive recording. All right, Pat
So-
just handed all 3 beers to Nicole,
Nicole.
and Nicole is now going to take a swig of each.
And while you do that, I'm gonna go first on this. An unwilling participant with an enabler and an
You pointed at me when you said enabler. So.
and an arrogant SOB.
Okay, is that me or Dusty?
did-
Baby, what?
Didn't want to do this one. Thought that there wasn't enough of meat on the bone. That there wasn't an episode. But
We did it.
we did it. We had some fun while we were doing it too.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yep.
I
Give us
went
a little
from-
room to,
We ditched our
I
shirts
went
and
from
pants.
6 to about 3 o'clock here.
We got
Yeah.
kind of tanked before we started rolling, and now here we are. And for Dusty Stupid Band, I'm gonna pick Dusty Stupid Beer, the strawberry milk shake for the Neutral Milk Hotel. Congratulations.
Stupid beer. All right, let's have Dusty chime in next.
All right, so,
You can't pick your own, remember.
yeah, I know it's just such a great choice. So looking at this, Dan, I think it was really cool that you went deep and you pulled back Magic Hat number 9. Sort of the way I think there was, Magic Hat being like one of the OGs for these craft breweries, bringing these deep flavors that weren't around often. And that's really the way I look at Neutral Milk Hotels. I think they were an originator. Maybe, even if you don't think they're the best band in the world, they certainly spurred some really great creativity out there. So I'm going to go with Magic Hat number 9.
Yeah, it's a good pick.
Thank you. All right, we're going to have Nicole chime in next. Our guest, I think she already knows who her husband picked, but we'll see if that affects her beer selection. Nicole, come on in.
But before that, little history with your. How did you find out about Neutral Milk Hotel?
What are your
Like,
thoughts on Neutral Milk Hotel?
Well, Neutral Milk Hotel.
Just put that thing right down your throat.
Boys. Neutral Milk Hotel, obviously, been a huge part of our college music repertoire. I think
big in school.
Oh, definitely. I mean, me and Dusty met when we were quote unquote attending Tyler School Bar, which means hanging out there with our friends that were going there. And it was a really big thing there. It was breaking a lot of boundaries. It was really speaking to us because it was very intellectual, but it had these really strange, unearthly sounds all the time that I thought was really fun. I even had several people approach me afterwards that used to make fun of us for listening to this and say later on in their lives they revisited it and they found it to be really smart. So Pat, that's for you.
Okay.
And you, Dan, if you feel like maybe this wasn't for you now. I mean, it really does it's timeless.
I didn't say anything.
It's timeless. This is all going to spiral into my choice. And
That
this is tough. This is hard.
They've created sort of like a questioning of time and concepts and reality and what is and what isn't. So
Yeah.
you were about to say something about
I didn't realize that we could
my
spin our own stuff while we were.
That's what this podcast is all about. Let's get wild.
I'm going to be lambasted for this because I'm always behind the scenes when Dusty's choosing some stuff, and I feel like both of us thought about this. So I'm not allowed. I'm going to say I'm not allowed to choose my own. And if I have to, I'm going to go with Pat's.
look at you.
Time is a hazy concept.
It is.
I really think that the idea of this beer is really special to me, and it has a little bit more of a bite. It's not as smooth, for instance, as a strawberry milkshake. This goes down easy. This Tired Hands thing, it's a crowd pleaser. It's absolutely delicious. If you haven't tried this, please open one up and have one. Time is a hazy concept. This is not for everybody. This has a little bit more grit, and the title of it is exactly what Neutral Milk Hotel espouses to me, which is that whole idea of a blurring of lines, the rebirth, yeah. I mean, obviously we talked, I don't know how deeply you guys got into this, but the World War II and parallels with all the history that happens in a lot of the songs.
The wanting to travel back in time and save people.
And it's very interesting, and that's what we loved about it.
Little boy in Spain.
Yeah. The rebirth and all that stuff. So it's really kind of, it's heartening for me. So that's my choice.
It did kind of make me lean towards Dusty's pick. The idea that a beer milkshake does seem like something that you're not everybody's willing to jump in and try that right away.
Right.
And Neutral Milk Hotel was not one I was willing to jump in and try right away.
And it has the milk aspect. I really have to say, though, Dusty, you and I, we literally discussed this in detail.
See, you went out and you hired a ringer.
It'd be very, very unfair for me.
You had to outsource your beer selection.
But because this is one that he knows I love.
I'm a good partner.
Yeah.
You are.
Great partner.
Yeah.
And
All
I'm a
right.
good partner
Yeah.
as well.
If
in
my
not-
wife
in
drank
not
beer,
cheating.
I would hope to have this similar conversations. But
All right, Danny, bring it home.
yes, my wife does not drink beer, so I'm SOL in that sense. I'm a straight shooter. The strawberry milkshake beer from Tired Hands. That's the winner for Neutral Milk Hotel. Excuse me, I'm losing my voice right now. I need to drink some more beer. That's the winner, straight up. Yeah.
All right, boys. Well, we did it. We figured it out, and I think
Neutral Milk Hotel is Tired
Strawberry.
Hands strawberry milkshake.
Milkshake.
and it feels right. It feels right. I think this one was good. Even if it wasn't as much meat on the bone, I think we got to that marrow and we started to suck it out. It's really nutritious for you.
My last question, Nicole, what do you feel about having a bunch of gentlemen sitting around in their underwear in the beach house with you? What do you feel?
Well, it's been not my first time sitting around with a bunch of men in their underwear at a beach
Used
house,
to it.
considering how long I have been hanging out with you guys. But it always feels pretty good. It's very comfortable. Won't be joining you as far as clothes off. It is chilly. This is January 28th, just one day before your birthday, Dan.
Somebody's birthday, yeah. So, long story short, you feel pretty neutral about this.
I would actually go a little further and say I feel
You're in the positive.
pretty positive. Yeah,
All right,
I
there you
do.
go.
I do. This means
Thank
that
you.
you guys are having fun. I like it when this happens. This pants off. It's a huge deal. It means this doesn't happen every day. It
That's
means
right.
we're all in a safe
And
space.
we went shirts off on top of that.
It's just like like
Gang is back together.
they teach you in all those public speaking classes, picture everyone in their underwear. We're making everybody comfortable.
Yeah,
today.
we go
Yeah.
the extra mile.
We
for
should
that.
open up the phone, start taking some calls.
Yes.
Right on.
Caller number one.
It's like a bunch of birds all just kind of rolling around in the dirt. That's you guys. You're just happy as hell.
A bunch of birds rolling around.
Nicole, you want
That's us.
to lead us in a Terminator clap?
Okay.
Ladies and gentlemen, this has been A Band of Beers. Thank you so much for listening and watching, and we will be back with another band and some more beers. And you catch us next.
Abandoned beers. Abandoned beers.
A band of beers.
A Band of Beers.